Hey, you guys, this is Rafael Eledge from Shiloh Relics.com in Savannah, Tennessee. Good morning to all of you guys. I hope you are having the best New Year ever. It's been a tremendous Christmas season. Kicking off the new year with a bang. We shipped out more in the last 2 or 3 days than I ever dreamt we possibly could. So thank you guys for that. And just to say thank you, I've got a hell of a treat. It is something really, really special, and I think it's something most folks haven't had a chance to see. So here it is. This is the Confederate Staff Officer's Sword that was made in Columbia, South Carolina by a firm known as Craft, Goldschmidt, and Craft. You'll sometimes see it listed as Craft, Goldsmith, and Craft, but I've always gotten used to calling it Craft, Goldschmidt, and Craft, so that's what I'm going to go to. We often hear them referred to as a KG and K because of those initials. They stand out from all the rest because it is one of the most massive swords made during the Civil War, especially by the Confederacy. It has a massive brass guard. Check that guard out, and it's big. I mean, your hand is completely surrounded when you put that into the guard, grab that grip. It is massive, but it has that magic letter CS, and that lets us know it's made for a staff officers, not a regular lower ranking officer. Unless you had a pile of money, you can buy your own. So, a couple things about these swords. They are made with that big brass guard like that we talked about. But when you notice that guard coming back up to this piece, which is called the pommel cap, it joins there and it looks like this. It looks like the head of a dolphin. How cool is that? One of the things I've always loved about them. Really long blade, 32¼ inch blade. Massive blade, and they the guys that did them, they had a few cool traits about what they did, which is why they made such a cool product. Henry Craft is listed in 1860 as a gold and silver plater, so he was used to working with metals. Peter Craft, the last Craft, was a gunsmith, so he was used to working with metals too. So what Goldschmidt do? He probably had the most important job of all. He was the accountant. So he'd actually been the clerk with one of the Crafts earlier. So they had their KG and K, and they had their skills. And when you look at the blade, you know they were skilled artisans, because it has the big CS like this. It has cannons like this. It has everything you can imagine etched on that blade. And at the base, the base has the cool marks. Sometimes you'll see them unmarked, but sometimes you'll see them like this one that has the maker's mark. On the back side, it has Columbia, and it's put in there in a pin needle engraving. And the other side has the KG and K for Craft, Goldschmidt, Goldsmith, or the other Craft. And it's just really well executed. Massive sword, beautiful sword. This one's in the original scabbard. The scabbard is made of lap seam metal with brass mounts and brass drag and brass throat. Really was a fancy piece. It had black enamel on the scabbard to detail it a little bit more. Just a cool sword. The grip is one thing that they did simply, though. It's a leather-covered wood and has a single strand of wire. They didn't go all out on the grip, and I don't know why, if you made all the rest of that sword, why you wouldn't say, the grip might as well be as fancy as the rest of it. But they decided not to. So this one is beautiful. It's got the etching. It's got the CS letters. It's got the big, massive guard with the CS letters. It's got the just the massive size all over. It's a really cool sword. If you go onto the website right now, I've got pictures of it from every angle. Got pictures of some of that etching, and like with most swords, sometimes they'll have a little pitting on the blade, and so you have to look a little closer. But with these, when you look a little closer, you see some really interesting designs. But go on there and check that out, because this is one I've only had less than a dozen of them in my 30 plus years in the business, so don't miss this one. It's a nice one. Like I said, we just returned from the show in Charleston, South Carolina. I hadn't been there in about 10 years, but it was so nice to see so many of those faces again. and everybody was so nice and kind. They do a great show. My friends at American Digger Magazine do it, Butch and Anita Holcomb, and their wonderful staff. They do a great job, good people. But I had it was a great show, but I had one of the coolest things happen to me I've had happen in a long time. A while back, time evades me, I had a friend and customer. So many of my customers have become my friends that he calls and he orders something. And I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm actually over in Memphis, Tennessee at St. Jude Hospital. And he was there with his little daughter. And I'd never met her, but every time I'd talk to him, I'd ask about her and I'd check on her. And I've got 3 daughters. And so it's something when you can't imagine what someone would go through when they're watching their child. But I'm sitting there at the show on Saturday, and I look around the side, and this little bitty girl comes running up to me and gives me the coolest, biggest hug, because he has always told her how I always ask about her. She sent me this back a while on. Kinsey Strong. So if you are watching this, I hope you know that people love you that hadn't even met you yet. And I am so thankful to get to say that Miss Kinsey is in remission, and she's beaming. She's beautiful. She's just a wonderful young person. And I am so thankful that I finally got to meet her. It made my show. And everybody was looking around and like, yep, that's tearing my eye. I don't care what you say. Something like that doesn't happen every day. But Miss Kinsey is a wonderful person, and I wish her only the best. And thank you to all of those people that work with any kind of patient, but especially children with cancer. It's got to be hard. But thank you guys for what you do. And I hope that y'all have the best New Year ever. If you find yourself with a pocket full of extra money, St. Jude is a good place to send it, because they do good work. There's a lot of other organizations that do good work, but it's a special place for special people. I hope you guys are well. Remember that you are loved, and if the last words you hear out of my mouth are "I love you," I'm okay with that. We'll catch you next time. If you enjoyed that little bit of history, you are going to love what you're going to find on the Shiloh Relics YouTube channel. Be sure to check them out. If you enjoy them, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, guys.